Dr. Pequeno Glazier. I'm a professor here in the Department of Media Study at SUNY Buffalo. I direct the Digital Poetry and Dance series here at UB between Media Study and the Dance Department. My PhD is in English, which I got at UB, and I have 2 master's degrees from Berkeley, one in English and one in library science, and I have no, those are 2 master's degrees. And then I have 1 bachelor's degree from Berkeley in English, and that's the Berkeley in California.
I did my high school and college in Nigeria. I went to Nigeria's premier university, the University of Nigeria in Nsukka. I studied history and international relations. My research focuses on the politics of gender identities in the Battle of Biafra, especially during the Atlantic Age, or what I call the Atlantic Age, just the period 1650 to the end, the end of the 19th century, really. Obvious is the political agendas for teaching history in both countries are different. Teaching African history in Nigeria is a nationalist project. Mm-hmm. It's a project of nationalism. It's a project of Pan-Africanism. Mm-hmm. It's a project of post-colonialism, as a theory. And also what history? I think mm-hmm. I would specifically African history. So I would say the emphasis on African history in Nigeria would be one of the mobilization of cultural nationalism, mm-hmm. right? An emphasis on local histories, what we call micro histories, histories of local communities, emphasizing the legitimacy of local institutions, political, economic, religious, not just focusing attention on European colonialism and Christianity and all of that, but finding the internal logic within local institutions. And so the curriculum in Nigeria itself is not oral per se, but there is an emphasis on local history. Mm-hmm. So it's a research-driven, it's the best way to describe it. It's a research-driven undergraduate experience.
Yeah. Which basically the experience I've had has been through the poetry festivals and working with students who are making works for digital poetry mm-hmm. overseas. So we have workshops and those kinds of things that are connected to universities that I work with, because all of these festivals are through a university that's in an overseas location. Mm-hmm. That's what we do here with digital poetry, but I like to move it around to different parts of the world to see the perspectives towards art making. Well, the University of London, which there's a program called Birkbeck College, so which is an interdisciplinary poetics kind of program that they have there, and then one is at the University of Paris, which is Paris 8, and then also at Paris 7. So they number them. But the Paris 7 one is was involved with translation, and the Paris 8 one is more technology based.
For example, as part of the History PA program, every student is required to conduct extensive oral history research, minimum of 60 oral interviews, and it's on these projects, micro projects, that we get a better understanding of the broader history of local communities. There's also an emphasis on the nationalist movement, so and on the colonial experience, the experience of colonialism as well, right? Mm-hmm. Teaching African history in America, for me, it means in particular I have to unteach
Yeah.
I have to do a lot of unteaching of a misunderstood Africa before I'm able to teach about the real Africa.
Yeah.
I find that teaching African history in the United States is also a journey of self-discovery for me. It's when you are forced to answer questions, right? Or when you're forced to see your culture through external eyes.
Yeah.
And to explain the logic of a local culture, lived culture, to an outsider, it forces you to undergo, a process of reevaluation, reassessment, and reteaching, relearning actually. And so for me, teaching African history in the United States is mutually beneficial, right?
Keep in mind, in Europe, the universities are more oriented towards scholarly works and academic works than art itself. So that's something that we have different here at UB and in the United States, is that, for example, you can study or teach arts at a university here, whereas in Paris you'd go to an arts, I guess you'd call it arts institute or arts institute to do arts, like to make painting, which in a certain way makes a kind of a rift that I think that is an advantage that we don't want to lose here in the United States. And so we see a film, and then we're reading a text, but the idea is to show. So I'm very interested in cultural poetics, and so what it is to show films made in other countries. In our system in the United States, the fact that language requirements are slipping away is a really big problem, because almost all the European students I know, they master 3 languages. But what it does to be able to study another language is it gives you different sort of grammatical structures for framing ways that you say things, which gives you like multiple perspectives in how to think. And so I think the big challenge is being able to think from different perspectives at once.